What I am about to tell you in the next few minutes has the potential to be the most important thing you hear all year. Not because it is complicated, not because it requires expensive treatments or difficult lifestyle changes, but because it is happening to you right now, tonight, while you sleep. And you have absolutely no idea. Your stroke risk triples between midnight and 6 a.m. Not because of genetics, not because of age, because of one specific habit that 92% of Americans over 60 repeat every single night without realizing it is silently and systematically damaging their brain while they sleep. I am going to reveal exactly what that habit is. And when I do, I want you to think honestly about whether you did it last night, because the answer is going to matter more than you think. And stay with me until the very end, because the number one preventive measure I will reveal today has been shown in recent studies to reduce stroke risk by up to 68%. That is the difference between independence and a wheelchair, between clear speech and struggling to say your own name, between waking up tomorrow as yourself or waking up as someone your family no longer fully recognizes. I am Dr. Berg. I have specialized in senior health for over 15 years, and I have worked with thousands of men and women over 60 who came to me terrified after a mini stroke, confused about why it happened when they believed they were doing everything right. What I am about to share goes against what many doctors casually dismiss as normal aging, but I have seen it with my own eyes, patient after patient, and I refuse to stay silent any longer. Here is what is happening inside your body right now while you sleep. And this is the part that keeps me up at night as a physician. After 60, your body produces 43% less of a critical compound called nitric oxide. This compound keeps your blood vessels flexible and your blood flowing smoothly. Without it, your arteries become stiff, your blood thickens, and during those critical hours between midnight and 6 a.m., when your blood pressure naturally drops, that thick, slow-moving blood struggles to reach your brain. But here is what makes this genuinely terrifying. There is one habit that makes this situation 10 times worse, and you are probably doing it right now without realizing it. According to research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, this single habit increases stroke risk by 312% in adults over 65. 312%. That is not a typo. That is not an exaggeration. The medical community has known about this for decades, yet most primary care doctors spend exactly 4 minutes discussing stroke prevention with their senior patients. 4 minutes. Meanwhile, every 40 seconds, someone in America has a stroke. 75% of those strokes happen in people over 65. And here is the number that should stop you completely. 80% of those strokes are preventable. This is not just about losing mobility or speech. When a stroke happens, everything falls apart at once. Your independence vanishes. Your family becomes your caretaker. Your retirement dreams disappear overnight. I have seen grown men cry in my office because they cannot remember their grandchildren's names. I have watched women who raised entire families and built decades-long careers suddenly unable to feed themselves. You are not broken. Your nighttime routine is broken. And today I am going to show you exactly, step by step, how to fix it. I'm going to count down 7 nighttime habits, ranked from dangerous to most dangerous. Each one has the power to damage your brain while you sleep. But I will also give you the exact solution for each one, because knowledge without action is just information, and you deserve far better than that. Pay close attention to number 3, because this is the one that most people laugh off, and it is the one that ends lives. And number 1, when we get there, I need you to promise yourself right now that you will be completely honest about whether this is something you do. Because if it is, everything changes tonight. Mistake number 7, sleeping flat on your back without elevation. Here is what most people do not understand. When you lie completely flat, your blood pressure drops even further during deep sleep. For someone over 60 with already compromised circulation, this creates what we call cerebral hypoperfusion. That is a clinical term for your brain not receiving enough blood while you sleep. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that seniors who sleep completely flat have a 38% higher incidence of nighttime strokes compared to those who sleep with slight elevation. 38%. That is not a minor statistical difference. That is nearly 4 additional strokes for every 10 that would otherwise not have occurred. Here is why elevation works. When your head and upper body are raised just slightly, about 4 to 6 inches, gravity helps maintain consistent blood flow to your brain. Your heart does not have to work as hard. Your blood vessels do not constrict as dramatically. Your brain receives the steady oxygen supply it needs to repair itself overnight. Here is something most people miss. Do not simply pile up regular pillows. That creates neck strain and can actually restrict blood flow through the carotid arteries, the very vessels supplying your brain. Use a wedge pillow specifically designed for elevation, or place risers under the head of your bed frame. The elevation must be gradual, not sharp. I remember Barbara, a 74-year-old retired teacher from Seattle who came to my office after experiencing a transient ischemic attack, a mini-stroke. She woke up one morning unable to move her left arm for about 10 minutes. She was sleeping completely flat on a firm mattress, believing it was better for her back. I suggested one simple change. Elevate the head of her bed by 5 inches using bed risers. Nothing expensive, nothing complicated. 3 weeks later, she called my office. Her morning headaches had completely disappeared. Her dizziness when standing was gone. She felt more alert during the day. She told me, "Dr. Berg, I did not realize how poorly I was sleeping until I finally started sleeping well. This was not a miracle. This was physics, gravity working with her body instead of against it. And you can experience exactly the same thing starting tonight." But that was the least dangerous habit on this list. What comes next is significantly more serious. Mistake number 6. Going to bed dehydrated. Here is a truth that nobody talks about. Your blood is 78% water. When you are dehydrated, your blood literally thickens. Thicker blood moves slower. Slower blood clots more easily. And during sleep, when you are not drinking anything for 6 to 8 hours, that dehydration progressively worsens through the entire night. Research published in BMC Cardiovascular Disorders found that even mild dehydration increases blood viscosity by up to 24%. That means your heart has to work 24% harder to push blood through your body and to your brain all night long while you are supposed to be resting. After 60, your body loses its ability to signal thirst effectively. You can be significantly dehydrated without feeling thirsty at all. This is why so many seniors wake up with headaches, confusion, and dizziness. Their brains spent the night struggling for adequate blood flow, and nobody told them why. Here is how to fix this without spending your entire night in the bathroom. 2 to 3 hours before bed, drink 12 to 16 ounces of water. Not all at once. Sip it slowly over an hour. This gives your kidneys time to process it before you lie down. Here is the detail most people never hear. Add a tiny pinch of natural sea salt to that water. A pinch so small you can barely taste it. That salt provides electrolytes, specifically sodium and potassium, that help your body actually absorb and retain the water instead of simply flushing it through. Then 1 hour before bed, drink another 4 to 6 ounces. This creates the optimal hydration level that lasts through the night without overwhelming your bladder. Before we continue, how many glasses of water do you drink daily? If you honestly drink 6 or more, type hydrated in the comments below. If you drink less, type working on it. Your response helps other viewers realize they are not alone. Now this brings us to mistake number 5, and this one shocks most people when they hear it. Mistake number 5, taking blood pressure medication too close to bedtime. Here is something your doctor may never have fully explained. Blood pressure medications are designed to lower your blood pressure. That is exactly their job. But your blood pressure naturally drops during sleep anyway. When you take these medications right before bed, you can create what is called nocturnal hypotension, blood pressure that drops dangerously low while you sleep. When blood pressure drops too low during sleep, your brain does not receive enough oxygen. Studies have shown that nocturnal hypotension is directly linked to silent brain infarcts, tiny strokes that occur without obvious symptoms but cause cumulative, irreversible brain damage over time. A groundbreaking study in the hypertension journal followed over 8,000 adults over 65 for 6 years. Those who took blood pressure medication at night had a 49% higher risk of stroke compared to those who took it in the morning. 49%. Now, I am not telling you to stop taking your medication. Never do that without speaking directly to your physician. But I am absolutely telling you to have a specific conversation about timing. For most people, taking blood pressure medication in the morning provides protection precisely when it is needed most, during active hours when blood pressure naturally rises, without causing dangerous drops during sleep. Here is the exact conversation to have with your doctor. Say this: I have read that the timing of blood pressure medication can meaningfully affect stroke risk. Can we discuss whether morning dosing would be more appropriate for my situation? Any physician who takes their work seriously will welcome a patient who is informed and engaged. If this information seems valuable to you, hit the like button right now. It helps more people over 60 find this before it is too late. Mistake number 4, sleeping in a room that is too warm. This one surprises almost everyone, but the science is absolutely clear. When you sleep in a warm room, above 72 degrees Fahrenheit, your body struggles to achieve the deep sleep stages it needs for genuine restoration. Your core temperature cannot drop the way biology requires for restorative rest. But here is the stroke connection that nobody discusses. Elevated body temperature during sleep increases inflammation throughout your entire cardiovascular system. Inflammation damages the delicate lining of your blood vessels. Damaged blood vessels are precisely where blood clots form, and blood clots cause strokes. Research from the Sleep Research Society found that every single degree above the optimal sleep temperature of 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit increases inflammatory markers by 12%. Those markers, specifically C-reactive protein and interleukin-6, are direct, measurable predictors of stroke risk. I remember Thomas, a 69-year-old retired firefighter from Phoenix. He kept his bedroom at 76 degrees, said it reminded him of the Arizona summers of his childhood. He was waking up with headaches every single morning. His blood pressure was creeping higher despite medication. I asked him to try one thing for 2 weeks: lower the bedroom temperature to 66 degrees and use an extra blanket if needed. He was skeptical. He thought he would be uncomfortable. He trusted me enough to try anyway. 10 days later, he came back for a follow-up. His morning headaches were completely gone. His blood pressure had dropped 12 points systolic without changing any medications. He was sleeping more deeply than he had in years. He told me, "Dr. Berg, I thought I needed the warmth. Turns out my body needed exactly the opposite." Here is how to implement this tonight. Set your thermostat to 66 or 67 degrees before bed. If that feels too cold initially, use layered blankets. You can always adjust. Your feet might feel cold at first. Wear socks. Within 3 to 5 nights, your body will adapt, and you will feel the difference when you wake up. Now let us move to something that affects millions of seniors every single night, and most of them have absolutely no idea it is happening. Mistake number 3, untreated or undiagnosed sleep apnea. I need you to pay very close attention here because this is the habit I mentioned at the beginning, the one most people laugh off, and it is the one that ends lives quietly and without warning. Here is a statistic that should genuinely stop you. 38% of adults over 60 have sleep apnea. But here is the part that keeps me up at night as a physician. 80% of those cases are completely undiagnosed. Millions of seniors are stopping breathing dozens, sometimes hundreds of times every single night, without knowing it, without any memory of it, while their families sleep peacefully in the next room with no idea what is happening. Every time you stop breathing, even for just 10 or 15 seconds, oxygen levels in your blood plummet. Your brain is suddenly starved of the oxygen it needs to survive. Then you gasp, breathing resumes, and oxygen floods back. And this cycle happens over and over and over, all night long, night after night, year after year. This is not just about feeling tired. Each time your oxygen drops, it causes measurable damage to the endothelial cells lining your blood vessels. Over months and years, this damage accumulates silently. Blood vessels become scarred, inflexible, prone to clot formation. A study in the New England Journal of Medicine found that untreated sleep apnea increases stroke risk by 437%. 37. Now you might be thinking, but I do not snore loudly. I do not wake up gasping. Here is what most people do not know. Sleep apnea in older adults often presents completely differently than in younger people. Instead of dramatic, loud snoring, you might simply experience frequent waking during the night, persistent morning headaches, overwhelming daytime fatigue, or waking up to urinate multiple times per night. That last symptom is critical. If you are waking up 3 or more times per night to use the bathroom, it may not be your bladder at all. It may be sleep apnea triggering your body's stress response, which then signals your bladder. This is one of the most misunderstood symptoms in senior health. Here is what to do. If any of these signs sound familiar, speak with your doctor about a sleep study. Modern sleep studies can often be done entirely at home. A small device monitors your breathing, oxygen levels, and heart rate while you sleep in your own bed. No hospital, no overnight stay away from home. If sleep apnea is diagnosed, treatment usually involves a CPAP machine. I know these devices have a difficult reputation. People say they are uncomfortable, loud, claustrophobic, but the technology has improved dramatically. Modern machines are quiet, compact, and most people fully adapt within 1 to 2 weeks. And here is the result that matters. Studies show that treating sleep apnea reduces stroke risk by 72% within the first year alone. 72%. That is the difference between a healthy, independent retirement and a devastating medical crisis that nobody saw coming. Before we continue, if you believe sleep apnea screening should be routine for every adult over 60, type yes in the comments. If you think it is overhyped, type no. Your response helps other viewers understand how widespread this truly is. We are now at the top 2. These are the most dangerous habits on this entire list. But they are also, and this is the part that gives me genuine hope, the most fixable. Mistake number 2, chronic stress and ruminating thoughts before sleep. Here is something that will permanently change how you think about stress and your cardiovascular system. Stress does not just make you feel anxious. It physically and chemically changes your blood. When you are stressed, especially chronically stressed, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones instruct your liver to release glucose and your blood to thicken, preparing your body for an emergency that never actually comes. Night after night of going to bed with your mind racing, worrying about finances, health, family problems, creates a state of constant low-grade physiological emergency. Your blood vessels constrict. Your blood pressure stays elevated even during sleep. Your blood becomes significantly more prone to clotting, all while you are lying completely still, believing you are resting. A 10-year study published in Stroke Journal followed over 12,000 adults over 60. Those who reported high stress levels and poor sleep quality had a 219% increased stroke risk compared to those who managed stress effectively. 219%. This is not emotional. This is measurable physical damage happening inside your arteries while you lie awake worrying. I remember Linda, a 71-year-old retired accountant who came to my office for a routine checkup. I noticed something deeply concerning. Her blood pressure was elevated only in her evening home readings. During the day, it was completely normal. That is backwards from what we typically expect. When I asked about her nighttime routine, everything became clear. Every single night, she would lie in bed mentally reviewing her adult children's problems, money troubles, relationship difficulties, health concerns. She was carrying the full weight of everyone else's lives into her own sleep every night. I suggested a simple protocol. 30 minutes before bed, she would write down every worry, every single one, in a dedicated notebook. Then she would close that notebook and leave it in another room, physically separating herself from those thoughts. Then 10 minutes of slow breathing. 4 seconds in, hold for 4, 6 seconds out. She was skeptical. She told me, "Dr. Berg, my problems do not disappear just because I write them down." I said, "You are absolutely right, but your brain needs to know there is a time to solve problems and a time to rest. Right now, it thinks every moment is problem-solving time. We are going to teach it otherwise." 5 weeks later, she came back. She had tears in her eyes. Her evening blood pressure had dropped 17 points. She was falling asleep within 15 minutes instead of lying awake for hours. She felt calmer and more in control during the day than she had in years. She told me, "Dr. Berg, I did not realize how much tension I was carrying into my sleep. It is like I have been holding my breath for years and finally learned how to exhale." Here is your action plan starting tonight. 30 minutes before bed, write down everything worrying you, every single thing. Then close that notebook and place it somewhere out of sight. Your bedroom is for rest, not problem solving. Then practice this breathing pattern for just 5 minutes. In through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Out through your mouth for 6 seconds. That extended exhale directly activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and repair system that lowers heart rate and blood pressure. Within 1 week, your body will begin anticipating this routine. Within 2 weeks, it will begin relaxing automatically when you start it. And now, we have arrived at number 1. This is the habit I mentioned at the very beginning. The one that is so common, so deeply accepted as normal, that most people reading this right now are going to recognize themselves immediately. And when you do, I want you to make a decision tonight. Habit 1, eating close to bedtime. The most dangerous mistake, number 1, eating a large meal or snacking within 3 hours of bedtime. I have saved this for last because it is the most common, the most dangerous, and the most completely preventable cause of nighttime stroke risk in adults over 60. And almost nobody is talking about it in terms this direct and clear. Here is exactly what happens when you eat close to bedtime. Your body has to divert enormous physiological resources to digestion. Blood flow shifts away from your brain and toward your digestive organs. Your heart rate increases, your blood pressure rises. All of this at precisely the moment your body is supposed to be entering its deepest repair and restoration mode. But here is the stroke connection that most physicians never clearly explain to their patients. When you lie down with a full stomach, you dramatically increase the likelihood of acid reflux. That acid irritation triggers stimulation of the vagus nerve, which can cause irregular heartbeats, specifically atrial fibrillation. And atrial fibrillation increases stroke risk by 500%. Even without reflux, late-night eating spikes your blood sugar. High blood sugar damages blood vessels directly and increases inflammation throughout your cardiovascular system. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found that eating within 2 hours of bedtime increases overnight blood glucose levels by an average of 43% compared to eating 4 hours before bed. That glucose spike triggers insulin release, which then causes reactive hypoglycemia in the middle of the night. Low blood sugar disrupts sleep and causes your body to release stress hormones, which increase blood pressure and clotting factors, each problem triggering the next. A cascade of compounding physiological damage, all from one habit that felt completely harmless. I remember James, a 76-year-old retired postal worker from Denver who came to my office after experiencing 2 mini-strokes within 4 months. He could not understand why. He was taking his medications. His daytime blood pressure was controlled. He exercised 3 times per week. When I asked about his eating schedule, the pattern became immediately obvious. James ate dinner around 5:30, which was fine, but every night around 9:30 or 10, he had a large snack, usually ice cream or cheese and crackers while watching television. He would go to bed around 11. His body was spending the entire night processing food instead of repairing itself. I asked him to try one thing for 30 days. Stop all eating by 7 p.m. Nothing after 7 except water or herbal tea. He could eat the same foods in the same amounts, just earlier in the evening. He was resistant. That nighttime snack was his reward for getting through the day, his moment of peace and comfort. I understood, but I asked him to try anyway. 6 weeks later, he came back for his follow-up. He had lost 9 pounds without changing what he ate. His fasting blood sugar had dropped from 132 to 104. His sleep quality had improved so dramatically that his wife had commented on it. And his overnight blood pressure monitoring showed significantly lower readings across the board. He told me, "Dr. Berg, I thought I would feel deprived. I thought I would lie awake hungry. But the opposite happened. I sleep so much better now. I wake up actually feeling rested instead of groggy. That snack was not giving me comfort. It was stealing my health. This was not willpower. This was timing." His body finally receiving the overnight restoration it had been desperately waiting for, night after night, year after year. Here is how to implement this starting tomorrow. Finish your last meal or snack by 7 p.m. If you currently eat dinner later than that, gradually shift it earlier by 15 minutes every few days until you reach 7 or before. If you feel hungry later in the evening, drink herbal tea. Chamomile, peppermint, or ginger tea can satisfy the habit of eating without triggering digestion. Water with a squeeze of lemon also works well. 6 p.m. Finish your last meal. Nothing but water or herbal tea after this time. 8:30 p.m. Open your worry journal. Write down everything on your mind. Every concern, every problem, every unfinished thought. Close the notebook. Place it in another room. Your bedroom is not a place for problem solving. 9 p.m. Begin dimming the lights throughout your home. This signals your brain to begin producing melatonin naturally. 9:30 p.m. Drink 4 to 6 ounces of water with a tiny pinch of sea salt. This is your final hydration before sleep. 9:45 p.m. 5 minutes of breathing exercises. Each one compounds the others, but when you correct them, the protective effect multiplies in the same way. Biology working for you instead of against you. Every single night. Here is my challenge to you. Commit to this routine for 30 days. Just 30 days. Track how you feel. Notice the changes in your energy, your clarity, your morning blood pressure reading. Your brain will thank you. Your independence will thank you. And the people who love you will thank you in ways they may never need to put into words, because you will still be there, fully present, fully yourself. Remember what James told me. He thought that nighttime snack was giving him comfort, but it was stealing his health. Sometimes the habits we believe are helping us are the ones causing the most harm. And sometimes the simplest changes create the most profound results. If you found this video genuinely valuable, do not keep it to yourself. Hit like, subscribe for more real health solutions designed for adults over 60, and share this with someone whose nighttime routine might be quietly working against them. You might just change their life. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 habits will you change first? Leave your answer in the comments. I read every single one, because aging does not mean accepting stroke risk as inevitable. It means learning how to work with your body instead of against it. And now you know exactly how to do that. I am Dr. Eric Berg. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.